All right, February 15th, another very cold day here in Richmond, Virginia. Feels like snow weather, but it's not going to snow, it's going to rain today. So Shalkinator told me to go here today to exercise. I'm going to try to knock out a few miles before the rain comes in. And I was just thinking about the umbrella, but rain all today and tomorrow, so I guess I'll take along the umbrella. All right, man, it's so cold today. You get rain coming in soon, all this afternoon, all tomorrow. As we trounce through the beloved omen season for 2025. Got 3 weeks left of omen season. Last night's feature presentation was 1 in a Million, 1986. First time viewing of this one. This is a Christian film by a director called Bill Carpenter, who also directed 1997's Invisible Enemies. I've seen once. I'd like to see that one again. And also Without Reservation, 1989, which I've had on my One for All the Marbles pick. Doesn't seem to be picked much, but I've seen that one a few times. And he also did Moment of Truth, 1992, which I haven't seen and I will not see because it's a animated thing. I don't want to see that. Co-written by Bill Carpenter himself and Bill Muir. The name looked familiar. Bill Muir did one of my favorite Christian films, The Crossing, 1994. David A.R. White, Kevin Downes. I really like that film. It's cheesy, but it's also really good. And then Bill Muir also co-wrote Invisible Enemies, 1997. Bill Carpenter, the director. These films he did, Invisible Enemies, 1997, Without Reservation, 1989, 1 in a Million, 1986, falls into the category. So in the Christian film genre, there's a subgenre, and it's called Christian fear films, and these are all definitely fall into that category. If you've seen these, all short films with that putting fear into the viewer, like hellfire and brimstone kind of stuff. And this subgenre began back in as far back as the early 70s. There was a 4-movie, there was a pentology put out. The first one was called Thief in the Night, 1972, and then there were 3 more. I think I only saw the first one, and wow, these things are really like fear-mongering films. Not a fan of the whole like Second Coming tribulation films. Never been a fan of those at all. With the exception of one. Okay, this one, with the exception of I think it's 1989 film called Future Tense. Pretty good, short film. That one was put out by Mars Hill Productions, and last night's feature presentation also put out by Mars Hill. If you're not 1 in a Million, also put out by Mars Hill. Okay, so and it has in those 2 movies, Future Tense and 1 in a Million, have a similar tone to them, and that explains it. So Mars Hill, in case you're not familiar, it's like a I think it's a private Christian college in Tennessee or something. I forget where it is, but this one, this is not bad. It's despite with the fear stuff, but it's worth seeing again. It's 16 minutes, starring Trevor Wallace as Bobby. Trevor Wallace is a plays this guy named Bobby, who's like a, I guess, high schooler with like a disability, like a physical disability, but it almost looks like he's mentally disabled. No, I think it's really physical. He's got this, like, he walks funny, and it's like, it's a limp, and it's fake. I know it's not real, but like, it just looks really goofy the way they do it. The way he acts like he's disabled, and he swims and stuff, and he doesn't like that people say good effort to him. He doesn't like being kind of crippled. It's kind of a mild disability, but. And then his girlfriend is played by Melissa Williams as Julia. You look at her, you're like, what? She's like really good looking. Why is she with this guy? But Trevor Wallace was also in Without Reservation. I thought that face looked familiar. He has kind of goofy looking face. And then Elizabeth Sinclair plays Miss Johnson, the mother of Bobby. And then William Carpenter plays the baby that Bobby saves his life from being hit by a car. So William Carpenter, I assume, is like William Carpenter Jr. So I assume it's the director's like baby son. So he gets a credit in there, but yeah, this is worth seeing again. It's kind of because it was a little weird, like. That's just kind of like hypothetical, like if the guy hadn't been born, this is what would have happened. The baby would have died. So it's kind of it's a little strange, but they pack a lot into 16 minutes. So I'll check this one out again if I need like a short one. But that's last night's feature presentation. As we chug through Omen Season 3, we got some little basketball going on over there in the gym. Typical this time of year, classic mid-February, maybe little youth or child's basketball league going on in there. And then we got a lot of rain here. Welcome to Cubscott Stadium, guys. It's been a while. This is Cubscott Stadium. Shawkinator set to go here, home of the Cubs. This is kind of a classic time of year to go to Cubscott. So, I'm gonna do a few miles here, and it's really crappy looking track here. And yeah, so we're halfway through the Omen pentology. Just did Omen 2 last week. This would be a great night for Omen 2. And then we got some snow coming in probably next week. So kind of like I've burned through all my snow movies. May have to repeat one maybe from that I watched earlier in January, but tonight I'm kind of thinking it might be, since we're halfway through Omen, maybe go with like an Omen ripoff to kind of keep the flow going. So like the Godsend 1980 might be on the table tonight. I don't know if it's the best Omen ripoff, but it might be my favorite. I'm not saying it's great, but I think it was Vestron Video too, which makes it awesome. English actors kind of, but this is one that is kind of just never talked about and forgotten, but the Godsend. So might go with that one tonight. We'll see. Depends on how it goes. But man, it's getting colder and colder. Rain's coming in, so Omen season chugging along. 3 weeks left until the time change, and then before that I'll try to put out a video, maybe even a whiteboard thing on the little off-season period, like 3 weeks before the spring season of movie viewing. So I'll try to like talk about that a little bit. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. This is Cubscott Stadium. The field is wet. It's crappy out here. Might need to put on another layer. It's really cold out here. All right. See you guys later.